Hello guys! So today I am here with a little bit of a different video. I am actually surprisingly often asked this on how do I take my Instagram photos. I get why people ask. At the same time, I'm always a bit like surprised, but I do enjoy it, and some people obviously enjoy the photos, and I love that you guys are interested in that, and I love speaking to you. However, it's very hard for me to answer in text. So instead, I thought I'll just make this video and link it to anyone who asks. I really don't think that I have anything very difficult to follow, or I don't try and complicate the process of me taking my photos. So I'll just simply, there's nothing that's gonna revolutionize the way you look at it, but I will show you how I do it either way. You seem to have wanted to know that. Just before we get into it, I would like to thank Skillshare for again sponsoring this video. Skillshare has appeared on my channel a couple of times because I do like the platform. So Skillshare is an online learning platform. The thing that I really like about Skillshare is that it is time efficient. I like to take on a lot of projects, and sometimes if I want to learn a new skill, I can really get lost in the internet, and I do find information, but I do have to filter through a lot of content that's not necessarily informative. And on Skillshare you have classes on so many subjects, including all the creative arts and bullet journaling like I mentioned previous, and writing advice, videos on entrepreneuring strategies, basically everything that your heart would desire, and especially a lot on Instagram and photo taking with your phone and with your DSLR, whatever you use. I really appreciate that content is already approved and reviewed. I think it could be really useful for a lot of people, and if you're one of those people who would like to try it but don't want to commit yet, I do have a link down in the description below. So if you click that link down below, the first 500 people will get 2 months of premium access. Premium access means that you have access to all of the classes that they have to offer for free, and I think it's a brilliant offer because you literally have nothing to lose. If you do want to stay afterwards, Skillshare is considerably less expensive than the majority of learning platforms online. The annual subscription plan starts under $10. So thank you so much again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and by doing so supporting this channel. And let's get on it because it is winter season and the light is very minimal. Honestly, some days it's utterly impossible to take any photos that are salvageable because it's so dark these months. As you've noticed, this is gonna be like sort of like a vlog type of video because I'm gonna be using my main camera to take photos, but you can also obviously use your phone because phones these days, I'll show you my previous camera, and my previous camera had lower pixels than my current phone. That's just how far phones went. Also, it was an old camera, but you know. So yeah, this is gonna be a very chill one, hopefully. Just on my vlog camera, I'll just show you what I'm doing. In my opinion, the most important thing while actually taking the photo is just the composition and the clarity of it. Everything else I pretty much change afterwards in editing. I'll try and show you how I do that, although I have my presets that I made, but I'll try and explain just a general gist. If you take a look at my Instagram, I do have pretty much like 3 types of photos. So I have flat lays, meaning that's a photo taken directly from above. Then I have angled flat lays, meaning that I have a similar composition to what a flat lay would look like, but I take it from an angle instead for variety. And then I sort of have like landscape shots. So those are usually of objects further back, and they have like a corner of a room, and you are almost from a person's kind of view, and it's a much more spacious type of shot. The windowsill in my old flat, since I'm in my new flat, I am trying to figure out what that's gonna be an equivalent of. I think that's probably the window space still, but because it's new, I'm still working it out, so we'll see. Currently I think I have like my reading chair and then the window space. I do like to have a theme, not just because it's aesthetically pleasing to look at, because let's be honest, a lot of people will just look at the photo separately, not in your feed, but because I think it gives me a direction or something to focus on. That is also why I do 3 types of shots. Obviously I can have like a random shot in there somewhere. I'm not gonna like be only those 3 type of shots, but again, that just simply gives me some sort of structure, something to focus on, because it's less stressful that way. As I mentioned, you can totally absolutely do this with your phone, and a lot of people do, and a lot of people come out with amazing photos. I just simply choose to do it on my camera. So I'm just gonna quickly let you know what I use. Now, for a lot of years, I'm talking since 2001 or something, I've been using my Nikon camera, and this one is D5100. Invested in a lens for it, and this is a Sigma Art 35mm one for 0.2 aperture, I want to say. Aperture is a little F rating, and it basically just means how wide the lens will open and how much light it will accept. The lower the number, the better, but the lower the number, the higher the price, pretty much. If the aperture is wide, that just basically means you can get that bokeh effect, and bokeh effect means blurred background, basically. Now, because I swapped to Canon, now I really need a shop that will adapt this lens into the Canon one, because I know it's possible. I just need to find... no one's replying to me. Anyway, regardless, currently this is a very new purchase to me. I spoke about it in a vlog because I basically post like a crazy person and I have no chill. I thought it would be a good investment to, you know, finally just bite the bullet and get a camera that is more suitable for the things that I do. Anyway, so currently I'm using a Canon EOS 80D, and the lens that I have with it is a Sigma. Again, I do like Sigma lenses. I will say for filming though, they are quite loud if you have a mount on microphone, which I do, so I usually just pre-focus and it doesn't autofocus. So this one is an 18 to 35mm, so it's not a primal lens. I keep forgetting that it's not a primal lens, and because I'm so used to years and years of just having a primal lens and no variation in, like, you know, I can't zoom, basically is what I mean. So like, I keep remembering that, oh my god, I actually can zoom out now. It is a 1.8 aperture wise, and I am still working this out because, as I said, I went from Nikon, so the actual system is different. So basically I'm still learning as well, but we will try and get on with it. The majority of the time when I take photos, I cannot be bothered with putting myself in there. Tomorrow my magical readathon Christmas edition starts, and I want to have a photo. Sorry, my cat is meowing. I want to have a nice photo, and I think because it's a Christmassy themed one, I want to have it next to my tree. So the first thing that I will do though is get rid of all of that stuff, but I'll take the one that's unwrapped and I will take frames out of there, and I will move the mirror. Now, because obviously we are shooting against the lights, so we're gonna be shadowed, I might pull out one of the lights that I basically never use for Instagram photos because it's a lot of hassle, but I do have. Currently it could be okay, so I'm gonna have a test shot and I'll see how it is, because I don't want it to be too exposed in the background. Like, as you can see now, like if the bits here are focused, then the background is super overexposed. But and when it's that overexposed, even in the post editing, you really cannot change anything about that. Okay, so actually, because I am a lazy person, instead of taking my actual lights out, I will just put the mirror so it reflects some light into here. And I'm also gonna change into my Hogwarts robe. Now, I would like to have my like Christmas Harry Potter sweater, but I don't have that in my collection yet. And I also really want to find one for George, because it would just have a G and that would be perfect, because it would just be for me, you know? And I don't want to have anything very eye-catching underneath, so I'm gonna steal Logan's turtleneck and hope it fits. Okay, so I stood it on the little tripod. Well, like, it's not always little, but obviously I shrunk it, and I'll adjust it as needs be. I tidied that up. I have changed into my Hogwarts robes. I will very quickly show you what I usually do on my camera. Now, because I primarily film on this, I usually do set it to the aperture priority, as you can see here. Now, the only thing I want to sort of like let you know is that, so because I obviously don't want to bother other people, or I usually don't have other people here to help me out to focus the camera when I film, or to take a photo when I'm further away from the camera, not behind the camera, basically. And this is a remote control. I got this from Amazon, as you can see, but it would work with any camera, basically. They're really not expensive and such lifesaver, so I definitely recommend. I did mention these little things in the video where I speak about tips for starting YouTube, basically. But anyway, the only thing that is worth mentioning basically is that I set that for a 2-second shutter release. This is either self-timer or shutter, so 2 seconds gives me a time to hide this in case it's a pose that requires both hands. I just go for evaluative metering, and when I'm shooting from further away, I obviously just do the auto selection of the points. Need to be changed here for autofocus when I'm not filming and taking photos from far away. I found that Canon's when compared to Nikon's. Oh shoot. Really oversaturate pictures. So so I do set it to neutral because that's easier to then change coloration after you take a photo. Now I'll just go and have a look, and I will just make sure to center it. That might actually be an okay angle. I don't necessarily need to have a whole tree in the shot because it'll be too far then. It does seem like it's gonna overexpose the background, but honestly can't be bothered taking the light, but you could. Now obviously I cannot hide that, so I'll just have to deal with that afterwards. But now for the actual photo, I want to have some Harry Pottery things there. So I think because it's a readathon, I will be simply reading and possibly have another book with my wand like flying above me. So I will choose a wand now. This is my favorite because it's so slim, but it's very hard to see in the photos. So I'm gonna go with this one. Time turner on. And most importantly, I want to feature this for the first time, which is my trunk. And it has my initials on here, so I sort of, but I might actually just have it like that, or like this. Might have it like that. Or open and fill with books. Yee, let's do that. And I'll usually take a ridiculous amount for one shot, especially if it's me in it, and especially if it's composition that's a bit like harder than your normal flat lay. So I'll take a couple so I know which one actually works for me. I'll never know if it was actually fairly successful until I actually export the photos. I think one thing that I'll notice is that, especially because I didn't put my contacts in, is that some of the photos will have some glare that I will have to, you know, not select those photos. So that's why I took quite a few. So normally I would go ahead and take a couple of more photos of different composition, but I don't want to keep you here for long, and literally it's pretty much the same other than I am holding the camera. Instead of that, I'm just gonna pop the card into my computer and show you how I edit them. Hands down, the most common question is what apps I use to edit my photos, and that is not a phone app, although I do know that Adobe Lightroom is on phones, but I never use it, so I can like recommend it, but I think a lot of people do, and it's like supposed to be really good. I do, however, have a computer version of this, and I'm just gonna launch it now and import my photos. I'll click and drag the photos that I took today then to be imported into here. So basically every time I decide that I want a new theme, I will go ahead and basically experiment with some colors and exposures and shadows and tintings, and I will decide what I want, and I will then, if I like it, I'll save it, so that will be the base for editing every other photo that I have for that theme. All depends on the light and the conditions and whatever happened the day that you took that photo, so it's not always going to be the same, but I'll just adjust what needs to be adjusted afterwards. And so from this point I will just go into developer, and now the bar on the left is where the presets are. There's a bunch of presets from the actual, and this is where you can see on the top left how would it look like. There's a bunch of presets that are already in the Lightroom that you could use or use as a base to just pop it up on yours. But anyway, then there's user presets, and whenever you make a preset, by the way, if you do something, there's a little plus button right there at the very top right corner of this sidebar, and if you click it, then you can name your preset and then you can create it, and this is how you will always find it. But anyway, you can see all of the presets that I had for my previous themes and current themes and whatnot, and my YouTube thumbnails actually. So I named it grain because I had a little bit of grain on it. This is not a photo we'll use, but let's try on that one. So, but obviously the grain on this one would just be horrible, and I knew that we're gonna deal with this like overexposure, but we'll fix that later. Can definitely see it's way overexposed, so we are gonna over highlight it. So we are gonna get that highlight all the way down, And exposure, we'll leave exposure as it is, but we will decrease the shadows first and then put exposure down. So then we can sort of manipulate that. So then I will put the blacks back up a little bit. I'm actually gonna take the grain off. So I'm gonna just take the grain off, and I put the luminance a little bit up. So as you can see, I'm changing quite a lot of this because I never take photos in this angle because it makes no sense. Now the contrast is set to +8 in the actual preset, and we are going to increase it a little bit, like +18. Highlights all the way down, shadows. It's hella exposed in the back, so it's definitely not a great photo, and I'm not a photo expert whatsoever, you know, this is just all for funsies for me. Now I'm gonna crop it a little bit because I can see it's tilted, and then just apply that. But I will change my hair a little bit because of the backlight. It looks way lighter than it is. Change my brush into a smaller size and then just run it through the hair. Now we have our sort of like a baseline for what it is. So I'm gonna copy that and apply for the rest of the photos basically, and then mark them as blue. See, if you right click, you can set color label. It's just my preferred, like literally it's just personal preference. I just do it blue, which is number 9 on the keyboard, for the ones that I will consider posting. So let's apply these for the rest of them. Okay, so then that I marked all of the slightly possible options, I will go back to the library, I'll click metadata, and I'll put blue in there, and then I'm gonna go into developer again and unmark some of the ones that I don't think I will be working on. I usually end up with like 4 left. Okay, now I'm gonna export them where I usually export them, and we shall go from there. It won't be happening because of the busy background and the overexposure. Oh my god. I am literally trying to film this whole video talking in between the drilling at the neighbors. Okay, so after I have that, I will then go ahead and select one, and I will open it with Photoshop. I have this folder of like textures that I use sometimes, and if I need something else, I will look at Google. I'm not gonna do a tutorial on this part, but I will basically just add some magic and textures of what I usually do, but I'll speed through it so I don't bore you guys, but you can still see what I'm sort of doing. But yeah, I'm gonna add textures, I'm gonna heel spot some bits and pieces, and again, I am fully aware how overly exposed the background is, but there's nothing I feel like I can do for that other than like very intricate photoshopping, which I don't feel like I have time or patience for today. So we all know this is not a perfect photo, but it's just what I do, so you know, this is the video. Okay, so when I'm sort of done with those, I will now airdrop them into my phone. So you can see these are the apps that I have on my phone. I don't always use them. As you can see, some of them need to be like re-downloaded. Memento is the one that I use for my like stop motion things. I have the Visco one, but I don't ever use it. I just use it if I take a photo with my phone, but it's not like, it's for the stories, not for the posting. And the one that I do use is the Mosaic one. This one just lets you see how your post will look on your feed. So you just click that plus button. Let me just add one of them. Let me add this one because I like it. And so I can see how that would look like. Now, every time I set out to take some photos, I will end up with 7 or so then I can put them on all into the app, and then I can see which order would make more sense. Although I do think that we should keep in mind that no one's gonna sit there in your profile and see, oh, does this match, does this like go well. It's just for your own preference, so really don't take it too seriously. It's important to just remember to have fun. Obviously, if it's a company or if it's your job, or if it's especially if you're an Instagram account for photography, then obviously you wouldn't want to upload stuff like that. I might go with this photo actually that you can see here. I'll probably pose this one, and so you can see I just crop my door out of the shot entirely, and that is probably how the post will look like. I don't know, maybe I'll tilt it a little bit, but anyway, I'll see on the day of the posting, which is tomorrow. But yeah, this is everything. I hope that sort of clears it out of how I make the photos. So I will insert one photo here of a before and after of the shot that I decided to post. Or I think I've decided to post. I might change my mind, we'll see. Yeah, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was somewhat interesting to watch. If you have any questions about anything that I didn't really mention, leave it down below and I will do my best to answer. Again, not a professional, this is just really for funsies. This is less how to and more like how I type of thing. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget that you can be one of the 500 people to not pay for the subscription of Skillshare and just sort of try it out for 2 months. I think it's a really good deal if you wanted to give it a go, and obviously there's no commitment. You don't have to commit to staying there afterwards. But yeah, that is everything. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay awesome, stay kind, and I'll see you next time. Bye!